Hello there, today's topic, nanotechnology. There is plenty of learn at the bottom. Basically, nanotechnology is a technology that focuses on small dimensions. How small is it? It is 1 out of a billion. When we think about nanotechnology, we need to mention a famous scientist, Richard Feynman. He promoted a new concept of manufacturing, bottom up instead of top down. Bottom up, no, and the top down, the two different things. He created this concept. This concept is called nanotechnology. He said, if people can build up things from the bottom and contributing blocks wisely up until the final product, the results will be fantastic. Traditionally, when people want to make a product, they find the materials first. Then, they shape the materials piece by piece, eventually making the final product. Though nanotechnology has been mentioned many decades ago, it was NEC researcher Shumio Iijima who discovered the carbon nanotube. And it was then that people started to invest heavily in this technology. The carbon nanotube is a material made of carbon. It's shaped like a hollow tube. This material has many fascinating properties. For example, superior strength, conductivity, ballistic conductance. These days, a lot of research on nanotubes can be found. Well, let's talk about the definition of a nano again. A nanometer, by definition, is 1 out of a billion meters. Carbon nanotubes, or the short name is CNTs, are tiny hollow cylinders of carbon. The diameter of a CNT is tens of thousands of times smaller than a human hair. Very small, very interesting. And this material got the attention from people to study nanotechnology. Nano Obama made by CNTs. Now let's make a nanotube. Let's make a nanotube into President Obama. And we'll call it Nano Obama. The Nano Obama is here, 10 to minus 9 meter. Here's Nano Obama. However, the real Obama is 1 meter 90 meter. This is very interesting because the same Obama is just different in size. Now let's look at how we can make our Nano Obama. The procedure to make Nano Obama is as following. First, we'll need his image. Second, a light drawing. Third, a mask. Fourth, catalyst patterning. With all of these, we will grow the nanotubes, which will make our Nano Obama. Nano Obama made of carbon nanotubes. From the right side of the slide, Iijima is holding a nanotube model. The TN picture shows the word carbon, and this carbon is made of carbon nanotubes. When we think about the Nano Obama and the Obama different in size, 10 to minus 9 meter versus 1 meter 90 centimeter, it is miniaturization. So why we need to study miniaturization, or what's the size effect? Why we need to think about small science? What happens when things are getting smaller? It is very interesting, fantastic. Well, miniaturization, the driving force for device, including density and performance, high density, high performance. So we need small. We want to make things small. Nanotechnology basically controlling of matter on an atomic and a molecular scale. The structure is at least one dimension, ranging from conventional devices to developing materials. Miniaturization, there are two approaches to achieve this: bottom-up versus top-down. Because of a small size and a small dimension, size effect miniaturization, class-based physics is not applicable anymore. We need new physics, that is quantum mechanics. And fabrication techniques are limited in featuring size. So we think about the small dimension or the dimension effect. We need to think back of the dimension again. 3 dimensions, 2 dimension, 1 dimension, and 0 dimension. 3 dimensions including volume and bulk. And 2 dimensions here. So it's very simple. 3 dimensions the cubic, and 2 dimensions is like the sheet, the plane graphing sheet. This is the structure of a graphing sheet. And 1 dimension line, y or 2, and 0 dimension point, quantum dots. So why we need to think about the size effect, or we need to study size effect? Because something happens. For size effect, different dimensions have a different dimension or different density of states. For a 3-dimensional object, electrons are allowed to move in 3 dimensions like a cubic, no restriction at all. In a 2-dimensional object, electrons are allowed to move on a plane. Here, 1 dimension lost. Electrons are allowed to move here. And in a 1-dimensional material, the electron movement is confined to a line here. And for 0 dimension, the electrons are further restricted to single dots here. Therefore, we can see the energy versus density of states different for different dimensions. For both material, no restriction. Electron movement follows this blue line here. For 2 dimension, 1 dimension lost, the electron movement is changed to staircase like the red line here. For 1 dimension, like the sharp peaks here, and for 0 dimension, only electrons can move in the black line, the many restriction here, the confinement effect.